This is the Hollywood Outsider, a weekly entertainment podcast where this week we are looking at upcoming releases of the Watch and Step Up Revolution. Our From the Outside In topic this week, with Dark Knight looming over us, we're going to talk about our favorite superheroes being brought to life on the big screen or the small screen, and why we love them. We're going to talk about the latest in movie and TV news like we do every week, our own trivia and Flashback DVD segments, including our Stump the HO contest winner. And speaking of, IMAHO t-shirts are available at thehollywoodoutsiders.com. We're going to read some listeners' emails, one of which asks us for our top 3 pet peeves when going to the theater. You can always subscribe on our website, iTunes, Stitcher Radio, or anywhere you can find an RSS feed. With that, I am Aaron Peterson. I'll be your host. With me today are my fellow host, Scott Clark.
I'm a ho, and I'm proud of it.
You should be. Justin McCumber.
You know, I bet if you went to that Adult Video Awards, you could sell a lot of those I'm a ho t-shirts.
That's a genius idea.
It really is.
And Brian Williams.
Road trip.
I'm in.
Scott was in before you said anything. Well, this is our last regular episode before our 1-year anniversary next week. What do you guys think? Are you excited?
Is it a ho-versary?
It's you see what you did there? Yep. Next week we are going to have our 1-year anniversary episode. We're going to give away 3 Hollywood Outsider t-shirts. Listen to the rest of the show and you can find out how. Because we're sure yet.
We're going to decide about halfway through.
Yeah, about halfway through, we'll just figure something out. Let's just jump into movie news because I don't know where I'm going at this point. Daniel Radcliffe is set to star in Horns. It's a film based on Joe Hill's novel about a man suspected of rape and murder who wakes up to discover horns growing from his head. Alexandre Haja directs. Haja.
Yeah, this is based on a book by Joe Hill, who, for those who don't know, he's the son of Stephen King. And, you know, you'd think if that's your dad, you could pretty well coast on his name for at least a couple of books before people figured out that you were a no-talent hack. But Joe Hill is an incredible writer in his own right. His first book, I wish, is the one that they were making the movie of. Horns is fine, and I enjoyed it. It's about a guy who's wanted for killing his girlfriend, and he wakes up after a drunken night to find out that he has horns growing out of his head, and these horns give him the ability to have people tell the truth and give in to their baser natures. And it's an interesting book. I preferred his first novel, though, called Heart-Shaped Box. But Joe Hill's an incredible writer. The real curiosity on this one, though, is Daniel Radcliffe playing the lead. I don't know what kind of American accent he can pull off. And this character is, you know, in the book, he's definitely an American character. So I'm curious what they're going to do with this. I like Daniel Radcliffe. I'd like to see him do more. I'm not so sure, though, about this Alexandra Aja who's directing it. You know, he's one of these guys that they've kind of dubbed an splatter pack, which was a term coined for some filmmakers that came out to do some brutally violent horror films. Him, Eli Roth, Rob Zombie, Neil Marshall are all a part of this group. And he's done like Piranha, Mirrors, The Hills Have Eyes. I don't know if he's quite got the touch that a story like Horns requires, but it's Joe Hill. I want to see his books get, you know, more success and see if his other works will get adapted as well. So I'll do what I can to help make this one a success if possible. So we'll see.
I like Aha. I thought Hills Have Eyes was really good, actually.
Yeah.
The remake. Yes. I like this.
I haven't seen that one. I've seen Mirrors, and I wasn't all that impressed.
I didn't care for Mirrors that much. Piranha was dumb fun. I don't know what kind of movie this is going to be, so I don't know. But Hills Have Eyes impressed me in terms of just a visceral horror flick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was pretty impressed with The Hills Have Eyes, and he also did another one called High Tension, which was
yeah.
Oh, that was
I think it was
great.
a foreign one, but that was pretty good.
Yeah. So he's got some talent when he wants to.
I'm with Justin though about Daniel Radcliffe in this role. First off, did any of us see the last non-Harry Potter movie he did? Was it The Woman in Black? I can't remember. Did any of us see it?
I haven't seen it. I've heard that it's very good though. He's very good.
And I'm kind of torn because I like the idea of seeing him in edgier films, but I still haven't seen anything that has made me want to go see it. And I can't see him and not see Harry Potter. So
Really?
I want to.
Well, apparently Harry Potter's playing Hellboy now, so
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. Yeah.
Wait, what?
Do you know who Hellboy
Oh,
is?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Okay. Well, Harry Potter. This guy has horns. Hellboy.
Oh, there you go. Gotcha.
That's all right.
Oh.
Sometimes you got to do some arithmetic with Scotty. Keep him moving.
Aaron, just break out the whiteboard, draw him a picture.
I do. I have one. Sheldon Cooper dropped it off. Will Smith is eyeing the film The Redemption of Cain. It's a Cain and Abel film, and he's looking to make that his directing debut.
So it looks like, the Bible stories apparently are the next big craze.
Yeah, who knew that was coming?
Oh, man. Yeah, and I wish Will Smith all the best here with his directorial debut, but just, stay out of the front end of the lens. I just don't want him saying, hey, welcome to Mesopotamia.
Oh, my God.
So, I don't know. Good story. Like I say, I wish him all the best with the directorial part of it, but I don't want to see him playing a Bible character.
Okay. Well, Andrew Stanton, who is the director of the ill-fated John Carter of Mars, is going back to Pixar where he will spearhead Finding Nemo Part 2.
All right. Here's what I got to say about this, and this is going to sound completely contradictory. I think a sequel to Finding Nemo would be more successful than a new concept for a film like John Carter was. But I would much rather see an original idea from Pixar than this. I loved Finding Nemo, don't get me wrong. Mm-hmm. But I think we've seen from Cars 2, well, Cars 1 wasn't a great film by any means, but...
Well, by comparison, you could say Toy Story 3. I mean,
that's
so
true.
That kills the Cars 2 argument, if you think about it. I mean, just
yeah, I mean, Toy Story was widely accepted by almost everybody. Cars was like hit or miss with... People were like 50-50 on Cars. Like, it kind of hit too hard. I think Finding Nemo hit with a lot more than Cars did, but I still like...
Wouldn't you say Toy Story, though, is kind of the exception to the rule? Because most cartoon sequels go straight to DVD.
I would say Toy Story 2 and Toy Story 3 were both just as good, if not better, than the original.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I'm not saying they're not. What I'm saying is that the fact that they've got successful sequels is the exception to the rule.
Mm-hmm. No, I guess what my point would be is that in terms of Pixar, their sequels that have gone to theater have been the Toy Story sequels or Cars. Mm-hmm. So to my mind, Cars was canceled out by the Toy Story. I have faith in them that they will do better this time than they did with Cars 2.
And that's fair. I would rather see something more new and interesting. I had high hopes for Brave, and while I enjoyed Brave, it felt more like just another Disney movie than a Pixar movie, even though it was done by Pixar.
It definitely seems that they're going more Disney with the last couple movies.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying is I'd rather see a new idea, something fresh and clever, instead of just another sequel. Although I'm going to love the movie. I'm pretty sure. I love Finding Nemo. It was great. It looked amazing. It's one of those ones on Blu-ray that just blows your mind the first time you see it. But I just would like to see something new.
Finding Nemo's on Blu-ray?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I didn't know that. But didn't they find Nemo?
Yeah, but that little fucker is slippery.
I guess so.
Justin's like, wait, there's a Blu-ray that I don't own yet?
I know. I'm about to go hit Amazon while y'all head on to the next story.
Well, Comic-Con was last week, so there's been lots of news, and we're going to touch on just the stuff that kind of interested us and we thought you might find interesting. Obviously, Marvel is making a movie of every property they have, it seems like, at this point. This is one that I was kind of shocked that they actually agreed to. I mean, even though it's been talked about. But Ant-Man has been given a go, and Edgar Wright has been set to direct.
Yeah, it looks like they could even start shooting next summer, which is pretty soon here. Considering, I don't know if it's fully been written yet, but Edgar Wright, he promises it will, and I quote, kick your ass 1 inch at a time.
I don't even know what that means, man.
So it means small.
Yeah, so. I got it.
Okay.
It just seems silly.
But yeah, I mean, Ant-Man was he was kind of a longtime member of the Avengers. I don't know about any recent, incarnations of him or whatever. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what they've done with him lately. But I know in the past he was in the Golden Age, the Silver Age, whatever. He was he was a longtime member of the Avengers. So And he's also had a couple of different variations, powers change, that kind of stuff. But basically, he either grows really small, then eventually grows really big. So, yeah, I don't know. He's not a guy I really care too much. I care too much about. So.
I'm sorry to cut you off. Is this somebody that we need to see a full length feature film about, or is this just scraping the bottom of the barrel?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. And I know for some reason, though, Edgar Wright has been wanting to do Ant-Man for a long time. And I have seen on various sites, people keep wanting this to happen. But Ant-Man has never been a character that I've ever given a shit about. So why people want this, I don't know if it's more the Ant-Man or the Edgar Wright part of it. I don't know.
And I'm one of those, I know literally nothing about this property. I can't help.
That's never stopped you from chiming in before.
This is true.
But I have a point, because I do have a valid point. I worry about getting burnt out on comic book films. Granted, I never read The Avengers. I never read Green Lantern, or any comic book for that matter. But I worry this is the beginning of the end of interest in this kind of stuff for me. I mean, you try to tell somebody that we're going to go see Ant-Man.
Well, no, we're comic book fan, not you. We,
right, the three of you,
the cool kids. We like comic books. We love comic books, and I'm telling you, as a comic book fan who has a huge box of them in my closet, don't steal them, Scott.
I'm not coming out of your closet.
I've seen, yeah, you wouldn't be the first guy to come out of there. Ant-Man is just not somebody that you ever would see a full-length movie on, in my opinion. I don't see the point. And there's some people on the internet that are getting very excited about this, I think just because Edgar Wright's involved, because he did Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz. But there's really not, and Scott Pilgrim, it's not enough. It's really just not enough. I mean, I have faith in the guy. He's got talent and whatnot, but it's not an interesting character.
You know, the margin for error is really big there. And can it be done right? Absolutely. And at this point, after name redacted, you just about have to say, okay, I trust you. They've got a bigger picture that we've got no clue what they're doing. I do wish I was there to see the little thing that when they pieced together a bunch of at Comic-Con here. They pieced together. Let's see. They took I guess shots from the announcements from Comic-Con, little still photos, and then they intercut them with scenes from everything from Iron Man all the way up to the Avengers. And then the last frame said, "Thank you for making the Avengers the biggest superhero movie of all time. Phase 2 begins now." And I mean, I just kind of get chills thinking about sitting there watching that, how pumped up I would have, I would have had a huge geek boner. But,
and just for people that aren't aware of what it is, Comic-Con is really the biggest, it used to be comic book convention in the world.
That's pop culture.
Now it's really pop culture. I mean, most movies get premiered there. Anything that has a superhero is going to get premiered there. Most TV shows, I mean, just anything with a cult following or a large fan base goes to Comic-Con. And that's where a lot of scoop comes from nowadays. So it's a huge convention. And it used to be a bunch of just silly nerds dressing up like stormtroopers and whatnot. Now it's, adults.
That's a bunch of hot nerds dressing up like Black Widow.
Yeah.
Or Lollipop Chainsaw.
Okay, also from Marvel. I promise we're not going to just stick on Marvel stuff, but this is from Comic-Con. So a couple titles were announced. Thor, The Dark World, which is going to premiere on November 8th, 2013, and it just lost its villain to the TV show Hannibal. Mads Mikkelsen had to drop out. And Captain America, The Winter Soldier, which is a pretty popular run of the comic, I think, on April 4th, 2014. And Anthony Mackie is in talks for that sequel, possibly as the Falcon.
First off, Finding Nemo is not on Blu-ray yet. Ooh. It comes out December 4th.
Okay.
So choke on that shit.
Thank you.
I'm not missing anything.
Fact-checking department
of
the podcast.
You're welcome. As for these two bits of news, I'm sad to see Mads Mikkelsen not be in the next Thor film. He seemed like an interesting choice, and I would have liked to have seen what he brought to that franchise. It's the Captain America one that gets my interest quite a bit more, because the Winter Soldier, if you know what that is and who that is, just that title is a bit of a spoiler. If you don't know, then of course you're not spoiled. But The Winter Soldier, we've actually already seen him.
Mm-hmm.
You just didn't know it. So I'm kind of curious why they would have used that name. I guess they're not worried about those of us who know it being spoiled on it. So I'm kind of curious where they're going to take it. The Falcon part of it, though, is a really another odd choice. I mean, okay. The Falcon is the first African-American mainstream comic character that ever came out. I think they first introduced him back in September of '69. So there's a bit of heritage to go with him, but he's really not that fucking interesting of a character, in my opinion. I mean, his only superpower is a telepathic link that he has to his falcon, which kind of extends out to all other birds, making him, I guess, the Aquaman of the sky. And then he's just got these, mechanical wings that he's gone through a couple iterations of that he can kind of fly around using. It's really not that interesting of a character, but, I didn't know what they were going to do with every other character they've brought to the screen over at Marvel, and they've always seemed to somehow find a way to make it cool, make it believable on the screen, and make it interesting. So we'll just have to see what they do. I certainly have faith that they know how to handle their own shit, but we'll just see. But I'm huge up for another Thor and another Captain America.
Chuck co-creator Chris Fedak is writing a script about a descendant of Harry Houdini, one of 3 currently in pre-production films involving the late magician / escape artist.
There seems to be a lot of biopic movies as of late. I think I'm actually more interested to see the ones based on Harry Houdini himself instead of one on a fictional descendant. I don't know. I'd be more interested to see what happened in his life and how he got to where he was than
how he got out.
How he got out, rather than about a fictional character. But like I said, I'll have to see what happens if I see more. What about you guys? Are you interested in it?
It depends. I mean, this is one of those things that it could be really cool. It could be really shitty. It's way too early for me to get invested either way. But I loved Chuck, so hopefully the guy that's in charge of this will bring some of that charm and charisma and fun over to an adventure series. I could see it.
Well, just think.
It'd be really cool if they got the guy who played Chuck.
He's free, I hear.
Yeah. He ain't doing shit.
I think it would be cool if they would take the descendant and basically just take him around the world, lock him into little puzzles, see if he gets out, go to the next one. There's your movie. Bam, I wrote it for you, Chuck.
You got a new Saw movie. That's Saw 7.
Huh? Kristen Bell. Oh, luscious Kristen Bell. Will star in The Lifeguard, about a reporter on the verge of 30 who leaves her job to return home and takes up her old high school job as a lifeguard and begins a dangerous relationship with a 16-year-old delinquent that I wish I was.
Yeah. Let's just all sit on that for a second. Kristen Bell, she's just... Every time, just hearing her name, I kind of get a little wistful and look up. I still miss Veronica Mars. Wish we could go back and talk about that instead. This sounds okay, and it sounds like she's trying to branch out by playing, this kind of more dangerous role of I don't want to say older woman at 30. She's certainly not an older woman, but she's older than 16. To play this type of character as opposed to the cute romantic comedy characters that she's been playing. So I'm more than happy to see her branch out into other things. If she's in it, I've already got more than a small amount of interest. We'll have to see how it goes. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I see that blonde little face, and I fall in love all over again.
Aww.
Yeah, you had me at Kristen Bell in Lifeguard. Really.
And it sounds almost like she's taking an edgier role, too. I mean, that's pretty much...
That's what I was implying.
Yeah. You were implying naughty things.
More than a little excited.
Yeah, more than a little.
Here, this is actually what kind of sounds like to be a case of gender inequality actually working for the women this time.
Yeah.
Because you can't make a movie about a guy who quits his job, gets a job as a swim coach, and bangs one of the girls on the team. That would be an action movie with Liam Neeson chasing around a pedophile. But But you flip-flop the roles, and now you got a romance.
I don't know.
Just
I
saying.
don't think they're going to play this one off as a romance.
Yeah, it's written creepy. I assume it's going to go for creepy. Even though if we were all the 16-year-old guy,
I was going to say, wouldn't you like to be that 16-year-old guy?
Yeah. My life would be rewriting itself as we speak.
It's like redoing that scene from The Sandlot. What? Drown yourself in the pool.
Wow. Dwayne Johnson confirms that he is in talks to play Lobo, the DC comic anti-hero. I don't know shit about Lobo.
I mean, it sounds good to me. I mean, he's got the swagger, I guess, to pull off the Lobo. But, yeah, there's still parties are working it out. So, but it still sounds like a pretty done deal. But, I'm for it. I mean, you put The Rock in anything, he's going to make it better.
That's true. Apparently any sequel that he wasn't in the original film.
Well, and if you've ever seen how Lobo's drawn, I mean, he is a huge, muscular dude. Dwayne Johnson is one of the few guys in Hollywood that could convincingly play him. He's got the height, he's got the bulk. Now, Lobo is, a white character with some, black paint on the face. So I don't know if they're going to completely cover him up all the CGI or paint or what to make him look more Lobo-ish, but he's definitely got the size for it. Have you guys still not read Lobo versus Santa Claus?
Have not, sir.
God, you guys have got to read that before
What
you
is
see anything.
the 1 to 2 sentence? I'm saying that for Justin's benefit. 1 to 2 sentence explanation of who Lobo is. What? I don't really know who he is.
He's an intergalactic bounty hunter. He killed off every member of his race to be the only one. And now he goes around kicking ass across the galaxy.
So he's Highlander.
Basically.
Huh. All right, now I'm sold. Okay, well, that's it for movie news. Now it's time to take a little trip to...
Welcome to Brian's Trailer Park. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Now, this first mention isn't about an upcoming movie, but it should be. Thomas Jane played the Marvel Comics character The Punisher back in 2004, and he apparently wants to do it again because he's made a 10-minute short film and took it over to Comic-Con last week. So after watching the short called Dirty Laundry, which also stars Ron Perlman, I say sign his ass up and let him even direct it because this thing is badass. Have you guys watched it?
Yes.
Oh, hell yes.
Yeah, Phil Janau is the actual director for it, and he's a pretty famous director, and I think this is the Punisher movie. I mean, this is made on his budget. Thomas Jane paid for it as a fan letter to his fans, I guess. Just saying, a love letter to his fans is what I meant to say. Saying, hey, granted you didn't love the Punisher movie I made, but here's the kind of movie I wish we would have made, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. It looks great. Looks great.
Oh, yeah, seriously, this looks fantastic. Whoever you are, wherever you are right now, go look up the words Dirty Laundry and watch this.
Or you can go to thehollywoodoutsider.com.
That too.
Oh, Scott.
Go ahead, back it up.
I tell you what, though, whoever knew that a bottle of Jack could kick so much ass?
That's true.
If this is any indication of what's to come in a new Punisher movie, consider me sold. Seriously.
It seems like he's almost auditioning for the job.
Yeah.
I mean, he's paying for his own audition. Like, all right, hire me again. I'm free.
I think it's a great, it's a great idea. It's a great. I thought they did a great job with it. I mean, it's, I hope Marvel wakes up and says, "Hey, let's do this and let's do it right."
Do you think they would though?
No holds barred, just let them go.
After they tried the reboot, Warzone, I think it was, and that
Warzone
was just a kind of action flick. Do you really think they'd try to do that one again? Because they've made basically 3 Punisher movies, and not one of them have been successful.
It really is kind of a difficult, as basic as a story is. It really is kind of a difficult character to pull off for a hit movie. Mm-hmm. I think he could. Honestly, I think what they could do, because he had a lot of run-ins with this guy, is bring him in to Spider-Man and kind of give him a little bit of limited time. Put him in a few badass fight scenes, kill some people, give Spidey the movie itself a little bit maybe of a darker feel, and then maybe kind of spin him off from that point.
I don't know. I think
what they should really do?
Mm-hmm.
Do an HBO TV show.
Oh,
just what I was going to say.
Was it?
Yeah.
Fucking Punisher War Journal. Make it a TV show. It would kick serious ass.
I will tell you that
idea.
I was a huge supporter of the original film, The Punisher, or not the original. I guess I was Dolph.
The Dolph?
No, not that one. God, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please, all our listeners, don't leave. I'm talking about the Thomas Jane film. I love Thomas Jane. I actually am a huge fan of Thomas Jane's. He's been in a lot of movies where I thought that he was the best thing in the movie, but he hasn't been in a lot of good movies. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I'm a huge fan of his, and he's always been that one guy that I thought, ever since, what was it, Deep Blue Sea? Was that the shark movie?
Shark movie.
Yes. Ever since that movie, he just caught my attention. I don't know what about him. I just thought he was a cool guy. He seems to have a lot of charisma with him. And when he did the Punisher movie, I thought he was great. The movie, not great, not bad, but not great. I mean, it had some cool action scenes, but I mean, they went a whole weird thing with the neighbors, and I mean, they went off the beaten path too far.
Well, putting it in Miami was stupid.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was stupid. And the fact that he did a really good job, and you could tell his heart was in the character, but it didn't seem like everybody else in the movie was trying to make an old Clint Eastwood movie or something.
I want to see him as the Highlander instead of Ryan Reynolds.
He actually kind of has a little bit of the look of...
Doesn't he?
Yep.
And his swagger.
Yeah.
He's a good guy. He's a cool guy, man. I wish he would get more work. And he's done some little movie called Under Suspicion. Most people probably never heard of it. But
Great movie.
yeah, he did a really good job. He's a good actor. He really is. So, I mean, good on him for trying to drum up his own business. What else we got?
All right, the actual first movie trailer that we're talking about this time around is called The Day. And it follows a small band of friends that roam a post-apocalyptic wasteland and find a house to scavenge, get some supplies, get a shower, and that's pretty much the good news. The bad news is it looks like it's a trap. So now they're teamed up with a cannibalistic warrior girl in a uneasy alliance, and they must fend off some surrounding hordes of more cannibals. So
I just see Admiral Akbar.
It's a trap. It's a trap.
I'm not really sure where this movie is going, which kind of, it's one of those where about a third of the way through the preview, I kind of thought, all right, this looks okay. But then by the time the preview's over, it looks like a totally different movie.
It looks cool. The only thing about it, though, that I didn't like is I think it revealed too much about one of the female characters and her motivations, as far as why they're in the situation they are. And I'm hoping that they didn't, spoil
Like it's a red
anything.
herring.
It could be a red herring, but we'll see. But I thought it looked pretty gritty and interesting. Pretty dark film.
Yeah, it looks good. I mean, the only downside is it's Anchor Bay, so you can't promise that it'll ever see theaters. But
yeah, there's something about seeing people dressed in normal civilian clothes, all covered in grit, and like the one shot of the girl, she's wearing a sundress and she's got a rifle strapped over her back. That just looks cool to me. Normal people being put in these kind of situations, but like Brian said, they're just. I feel like I don't know what the movie's about other than trapped in a house and fighting off whatever it is. That's like all the information we seem to be given.
They shoot people. Hello.
It's kind of like horde mode on one of those, on a video game. So,
What else we got?
well, apparently it will see the theaters, even though it is from Anchor Bay, because it supposedly it opens August 29th.
Excellent.
Right. So, got about a month and a half to see if it makes it that far. Next up, we've got Oz, the Great and Powerful. It's an apparent prequel that follows Oscar Diggs, a shady illusionist, as he is transported to Oz and meets up with not one, not two, but three witches that tasks him with the job of purging the land of an evil force that threatens to destroy the entire kingdom. So This is basically, it looks like, I guess it's a story. I mean, I really don't know too much about it, but it looks like this is apparently how Oz gets the job, so to speak.
This is his interview process.
Yeah, his tryouts.
Yeah. Yes. Nice. Looks really good. I mean, Sam Raimi directed it, who directed the excellent first two Spider-Man films. It looks very interesting. It's basically a prequel to The Wizard of Oz. And from what I've seen, you know, they're going to pay a little homage to Wizard of Oz, but it's not going to be just constant reminders of the film. It looks like it's telling its own story from what I saw. This
to me looks like, it's hard to watch this trailer without thinking of the Alice in Wonderland sequel, I guess you'd call it, as far as like, because when I saw that market, I thought it was going to be a retelling of Alice in Wonderland.
Oh yeah, I could see that. The colors, it's very vibrant.
Yeah, it it's very reminiscent. A lot of familiar characters, a lot of familiar scenery, that kind of thing. This looks like it's doing it the right way to me. Like there's enough there to be familiar, but it's its own thing enough to make me a lot more interested. Plus, I love that they're doing the black and white and color thing that they did with the original Wizard of Oz, which was like a big deal.
Yeah, that looks very cool.
Back then,
very cool.
I'm really excited to see that. I think it looks great.
Well, and thank God Tim Burton's not directing this. I mean, even without him not directing it, when I saw the trailer was up and ready to be seen, I went into it with a huge amount of trepidation and just fully expecting to hate what I saw. And by the time it was done, I was really excited. It's, you know, just like Scott said, it looks right. It doesn't look like that Alice in Wonderland piece of crap that Tim Burton put out. It doesn't look overly stylized. It doesn't look silly or campy. It looks like a real, honest interpretation of, you know, the God, tongue is tied up in my mouth. Wizard of Oz.
Where else would your tongue tied
universe? Well, I don't want to tell it all on the air. We'll talk about that after. But it looks really good. And I'm not a James Franco fan. I don't think this film is going to change me, but everyone else involved in it looks really cool. And they look like they're doing a fantastic job. So, yeah, I mean, color me excited.
Well, all right, then. You're just going to have to hold off on that excitement there, Crayola, for a little while, because it doesn't come out till March 8th of 2013. You guys out there can watch these trailers and those from recent episodes at thehollywoodoutsider.com. And if you got something that you want to talk to us about, tweet us at H_outsider. Go to facebook.com/thehollywoodoutsider. Click like, drop us a line, let us know whatever's on your mind. Or you can email us at feedback@thehollywoodoutsider.com.
Thanks, B. Now it is time for
Stump the HO.
Stump the HO is our weekly contest where each week one of our hosts poses a trivia question to the remaining hosts in an attempt to stump their fellow hoes. HO stands for Hollywood Outsider, not actual prostitutes. This week, it's a listener turn. This is the winner of our Stump the HO listener contest, which basically means if his question can stump two of you three remaining hoes, because I already know the answer because I saw the question, he wins a IMAHO t-shirt. So, without further ado, are you guys ready?
I'm ready.
Justin?
Bring it.
Roger.
Okay. Well, the listener chosen was Aaron S. No relation, because my name's Aaron P. But he has a wonderful first name, so we went with him. Here is his question. You guys ready? Drum roll.
Is there any math involved?
No. We specifically
Piece
said...
of paper?
Yeah, you might want to draw a box. Okay, here's the question. Aaron asks, being that this week marks the 39th anniversary of Bruce Lee's death, I thought I would do a Bruce Lee question. Which of the following celebrities was not a student of Bruce Lee's? Was it A, Roman Polanski, B, Paul Newman, C, Chuck Norris, or D, Steve McQueen? Scott.
Run the four again.
Roman Polanski, Paul Newman, Chuck Norris, or Steve McQueen? Which of the following was not a student of Bruce Lee's?
I will say B.
Paul Newman, okay. Justin?
I'm going to go with C, Big Chuck Norris.
Chuck Norris, okay. And Brian?
I'm going to go with Chuck Norris.
Okay.
Fucking getting on my curtails.
So,
well, it's a large tale.
Hey, fuck you.
Okay. Okay, Aaron, we will find out what the answer is a little later in the show. We'll find out if you won your Stump the HO t-shirt.
He already knows at this point.
Well, I already know.
I know, so does he.
Well, yeah, I guess you would know, wouldn't he? Justin and Brian both picked Chuck Norris, and Scott picked B. Paul Newman. So we'll find out a little later on in the show. Let's go to the big screen. Scott?
All right, we'll do a quick recap of last week's episode. This was episode 50, which was called Savage Hose. We talked about the only release for July 20th, which was The Dark Knight Rises. Obviously, this was all of our picks for the week, and only new film out. So we did review Savages as well as Ted, and our topic of the week was film ratings.
What were you going to say, Justin?
Got my tickets. Got my IMAX tickets.
Oh, you're doing the threefer?
Tomorrow.
Oh, you dick. I gotta work.
Me and my bro heading out. IMAX, all three.
That is going to be a long day. Now, what time does that start?
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock, and then what? The next one's at like 9 or something?
Probably about that.
We
That's
just
a lot of movies.
we just had a Batmanathon at the house. That was actually pretty fun, where we watched the first two movies back to back.
This is shorter than all the Marvel movies.
The two movies, do two movies create a thon?
Yeah, because it was like 5 hours. And lots of brats, and we were half asleep before the first movie was over.
That was a long 2 movies.
Here's a rule of thumb: if you're going to watch a couple movies with a bunch of friends, don't eat first.
Yep.
All right, do it at the end.
No brats.
Yeah, don't eat the brats. That's bad for you. We're not reviewing anything this week because nobody wanted to go see Ice Age Pedophile Drift. So we're going to go straight into the box office. Ice Age opened to a decent $46 million, which is about average for the series. But meanwhile, overseas, this movie
Aaron's movie, what, your money didn't contribute to that?
Not yet, no.
As you sat in the back of the theater just scoping the...
Justin, I don't pay for a ticket, I just wait outside.
The van heated up and ready.
Just ready to
Plus
go.
the candy's way too expensive in there.
Yeah, it is. I go to Walgreens and get my own. Meanwhile, overseas, it's made $340+ million already and shouldn't have a problem getting the $600 million just overseas. Here, the franchise is just fairly popular. Overseas, it's huge. It's one of the last movie I think is the biggest animated film overseas ever. So Ice Age is huge and it's doing big business. So don't be surprised to see Ice Age 5. Spider-Man held on decent with $34 million and it's got over $200 million total now. I think that's probably going to stop once Dark Knight opens, which should be by the time you listen to this podcast should be opening. And that'll probably put Spider-Man back to the back of the bus. So, but so far Spider-Man's made over $500 million worldwide, so there will be a sequel. It looks like it's good to go. And Ted is still going strong with $22 million and over $159 million. They said it's doing similar business to The Hangover from a few years ago. Are you excited, Scott? You like Ted.
I did.
Even though it was 45 minutes too long.
Yeah, it's a little long. I'm still pondering your putting Spider-Man in the back of the bus.
Why?
I don't know.
Does it sound racist?
A little bit.
Well, he wears a red mask. I don't
It
know.
is Aaron.
Yeah, that's true. Is he Asian? Okay, without further ado, it's time for Justin's upcoming attractions.
Justin's upcoming attractions.
All right, well, we have got 2 movies coming up for July 27th. First up, Step Up, Revolution, yo. It's a 3D dance film directed by Scott Speer, who his only other credits are a fuck ton of music videos. It's going to be the 4th installment in the Step Up film series, and it will star Catherine McCormick, who some of you may remember, like I did, from the 6th season of So You Think You Can Dance. It is going to feature choreography by Travis Wall, who the same lot of you will also remember was on the 2nd season of So You Think You Can Dance and has actually gone on to be a choreographer of some quite wonderful dance routines. Unlike the first 3 films, though, this one, those were produced by Touchstone Pictures and distributed by Walt Disney Studios, this film is the first to be produced and distributed by Summit Entertainment without Touchstone's involvement. So there's a little bit of trivia. Now, the story goes is that Emily, who Catherine McCormick plays, is the daughter of a wealthy businessman, arrives in Miami with aspirations of becoming a professional dancer, but soon falls in love with Sean, played by Ryan Guzman, a young man who leads a dance crew in elaborate cutting-edge flash mobs. The crew, cunningly called the Mob, strives to win a contest for a major sponsorship opportunity, but soon Emily's father, played by the eyebrows known as Peter Gallagher, threatens to develop the mob's historic neighborhood and displace thousands of people. Emily must band together with Sean and the mob to turn their performance mobs into protest mobs, hence revolution, or risk losing their dreams to fight for a greater cause. Scotty, you strike me as quite the rug cutter, so please tell me what you think of this.
I couldn't be any less interested in this movie. The only thing that made the original interesting at all was Channing Tatum, because he's fun to watch, but he's nowhere to be seen in this unless there's going to be some weird cameo somewhere in there, which that probably might happen. But that said, there is a big market for these kind of movies. I have a couple female friends that worship any dance movie whatsoever. They love watching dance. Doesn't interest me at all, but a lot of people out there like this kind of stuff. So.
I love flash mobs. I would actually be kind of, if I could get a free ticket, I would go see it.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd pay for it, and isn't it in 3D?
I said that in the beginning.
Yeah.
That yes, it's a 3D dance film.
Well, all right. Well, bitch slap me then. I didn't. How do you do a dance movie? And are they going to dance in your face? I don't understand.
I guess all those footwork coming at your face.
It just seems like I'll be ducking a lot. That doesn't sound fun.
The last one was in 3D also.
Step Up 3D, bitch.
That's right.
Step Up into the streets. There's all these Step Up movies. They must be popular because they're still making money. So. And
they didn't go with the, putting a 4 in the word revolution or anything.
It was originally going to be called Forever.
I like that better.
Of course it was.
You know what? I kind of like the trailer. The dance looks fun. The dancing looks fun. It doesn't look like a movie I'd want to see, but I would watch the flash mob dancing. It's kind of cool.
I'd watch a 10-minute clip of it.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, the dancing does look good. The story looks dumber and shit. I mean, flash mob, it almost screams 80s with the we have to fight off the man to save our car wash or, whatever it is. Their camp that they're trying to save. But when I was doing my research and learned that Travis Wall does most of the choreography, my interest actually went pretty high. I like Travis Wall. I'm a huge So You Think You Could Dance fan. Blame my wife for it. She got me to watching it, and now not a season of it can go by without me just loving every episode. Catherine McCormick was on the 6th season, and she is actually a very talented dancer and a very lovely girl. So while I don't think I would ever go to the theater to see it, I will more than likely, this would be the first Step Up movie that I would want to, rent. So there you go.
All right. What else we got?
All right. The last one we've got is The Watch, previously known as Neighborhood Watch until Trayvon Little and
Skittles.
Skittles.
The Skittle incident. That's what I want to call it.
Yeah, the Skittles. This is a science fiction comedy directed by Akiva Schaffer and written by Jared Stern, Seth Rogen, and Evan Goldberg. It stars Ben Stiller, Vince Vaughn, Jonah Hill, and Richard Ayoade. Richard. Mm-hmm. The film began development in 2008 under producer Sean Levy as a teen audience-targeted project written by Jared Stern, but between 2009 and late 2010, the project saw different directors and stars join the project until November 2010 when it moved into new direction under Rogen and Goldberg, who rewrote it, aiming it towards an adult-oriented audience. So, yeah, this one had a long road getting here. Filming began in October of 2011 in the state of Georgia and concluded in January of 2012. It's about a group of suburbanites who form a neighborhood watch group to allow them time to escape from their families. So I'm sure Scott's looking for a watch group. And boring lives. However, when the group discovers an alien plot that threatens the entire world, they're forced to confront it head on. Now, Brian, as our man in Georgia, who knows everything that goes on in the Peach State, you have to be supporting this film now, right?
Absolutely. When they called me to say, hey, look, we want to shoot here, I said, send me the script. I looked at the script, checked it out. It looked good, looked funny. I like the cast. It actually does look like something that I would check out. I mean, this does look funny. It is Vince Vaughn and, Ben Stiller, and it's probably just another variation of another Ben Stiller movie, but it looks funny.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll probably check it out.
I'm pretty sad that they had to change the name from Neighborhood Watch to The Watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was stupid.
And just to protest that, I'm going to show up and eat Skittles in the movie. Bam.
You going to wear a hoodie?
Oh. Brian went too far. Finally, Brian.
I really want to like this, but I don't see myself going to the theater to see this one. It looks like it's trying way too hard for me. I mean, it seems like it's taking everything that I don't like about a Ben Stiller movie and that I don't like about a Vince Vaughn movie and putting that all together, and a Jonah Hill movie too. Mm-hmm. Like all the things I don't like about those guys. It's going to really have to get some fantastic reviews to turn me around. I mean, like I said, I want to like it. I'm just worried that it's going to be not my thing.
You want to know what really bothers me is I saw the regular trailer and thought, it looks all right. I mean, some parts of it are funny. I like Vince Vaughn a lot.
Yeah.
Because he's mean and sarcastic, so I like him. So I like the PG-13 trailer, but then I saw the Red Band trailer where it just goes too vulgar because it's an R-rated movie, mm-hmm. and some of the jokes are just dick and fart joke stuff I don't like. Mm-hmm. So as soon as I saw that, I got less interested. The Red Band trailer actually turned me off, but I still want to see it because Vince Vaughn's in it, and then I'll see pretty much anything he does. But
I shouldn't even see the Red Band trailer. I'm just going by the PG-13.
There's a whole thing with that green goo that he thinks is from the Nickelodeon Awards. They take it a lot worse. In the Red Band. Yeah, it's too far. They go too far. Mm. Yeah. So
what was that sci-fi movie from several years ago? It had David Duchovny.
Oh, Evolution.
For some reason, this one gives me that same kind of vibe that they're just trying a little too hard to make a funny sci-fi, and it's probably going to end up just as shitty. But this weekend, my wife and I actually watched Tower Heist, and I enjoyed it much more than I thought I would. So I'm a little higher on Ben Stiller right now than I might normally be. And like you, Aaron, I like Vince Vaughn a lot. So I figure I'll like this film, but I'm not as anticipatory of it as I probably would be otherwise.
Okay.
So of these two films, guys, which one are you more likely to go to the theater and check out? Aaron?
Dark Knight Rises again?
Yeah, okay.
Probably The Watch.
Aaron? Oh, sorry. Scotty?
It'd be The Watch
you
as well.
You two are interchangeable for me.
Lesser of two evils, The Watch for me.
And Brian, I know you have to go with your Georgia-based film, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll go with The Watch. I like I do like some good dance routines, but I'm not going to pay $10 to go see it. So
now, are you a hip hop guy, or are you more a waltz?
I'm a drop it like it's hot kind of guy.
Not a paso doble? No.
What's your pick, Justin?
Let's make it a clean sweep. We'll go The Watch.
Okay.
2 weeks in a row. Well, last week was kind of a gimme.
Before we go on to What's This Movie, next week we are finally going to review The Dark Knight Rises on our 1-year anniversary episode. Please email us your favorite moments from the show over the last year, and we'll read them on the air. So, and you can do that at feedback@thehollywoodoutsider.com. And coming on this Monday, or a few days after you listen to this, our Dark Knight spoiler cast will be up, where we're going to look at the full Dark Knight saga and how we feel the story ended. So, check that out.
What's this movie?
Now it's time for What's This Movie? Each week we have a movie quote that we play and see if you guys can guess it. If anybody guesses it, we'll name you off on the air. Last week, a listener suggestion. It was A.P. Stevens, and his movie was actually Rookie of the Year. And the people that got it, Greg Swiger, like Tiger, Paul Showalter, Dan Miranda. I hope I said that right. I feel bad. But Dan, if you've ever listened to the show, then you know that I can't pronounce anybody's name correctly. Sean M. and Smystery Man on Twitter. So congratulations to all you guys. You got it right. There were several wrong answers, including when I listened to it, I had no idea what it was. This week it is Brian's turn, so here's your clip.
Ain't you ashamed? You're trying to steal an old lady's automobile.
Oh, come on now, what you talking about? I've been thinking about buying me one.
Fool. You ain't got money for dinner, let alone buy no car.
Oh, now, I tell you something. I got enough money for Coca-Cola, and since it don't look like you're gonna invite me inside.
Oh, you'd see at the dining room table if I did.
Okay. If you guys think you know what that movie was, email us at feedback@thehollywoodoutsider.com, and we will give you a shout-out next week. Real quick, let's go over what our contests are going to be. If you are, which we just figured out just now, if you want to win an IMAHO t-shirt, you got 3 chances, because we're going to give away 3 shirts next week for our 1-year anniversary. You go to iTunes and post a 5-star positive review for the show, and then email us to let us know you did and what your handle was, and we will draw a name out of that batch. So go to iTunes, put up a 5-star positive review, email us your handle, so we'll draw a name from that. If you've got an idea for a What's This Movie clip, send us that clip, and if you can stump 2 of our 3 guests or 3 hosts, you will win a shirt. And Flashback, send us a paragraph long of a review of a movie that you're a big fan of that not many people know about, a little known or obscure film, and we will draw one of those selections, and whoever gets drawn will also win a t-shirt. So there's your 3 chances, and if you want to know again what those are, I would rewind it about a minute and a half and listen to that again. So iTunes positive review, got to email us your handle so we know what it is. Send us a What's This Movie clip and see if the host can guess it. And actually, if they guess it, then I guess if you get it and you would draw it, you'll get a t-shirt. And the flashback, if you send us a flashback in about a paragraph, we'll draw one of those too. So those are your 3 chances. I hope to give away 3 shirts next week. So get on that. Come on. You know you're going to want them. These t-shirts are fun. Every time I wear them to the theater, somebody asks me about it. Every time.
Yeah?
Every time. Are you a hoe? I am a hoe. Sony Pictures TV has nailed down rights to Outlander. It's a fantasy romantic book series about a World War II nurse in 1945 who steps back in time to 1743 and craziness ensues. Battlestar Galactica's Ron Moore will handle the series adaptation.
You know, it's interesting that this book is actually, it's part of a series. It's a 7-book series. I think the 8th book is coming out next year. I've never heard of this series yet. They have sold over 20 million copies. So obviously I'm one of the few people that has never heard of this series. But through reading what the story is about, which you gave a really brief synopsis of, it does not sound like my sort of book at all. It's heavily romantically influenced. It's not something that I would have pegged Ron Moore for, given his past sci-fi heaviness. But I guess since there's somehow time travel involved, that means it's within his wheelhouse. I'm not all that interested in this one. I like Ron Moore. I like the work that he's done in the past, but this one just doesn't really reach out to me. But yeah, then again, if the cast is good, we'll see.
It's like romantic TARDIS.
Yeah, kind of.
Now that
Just
you mentioned that
another
it's
cool doctor.
more based on a romance, I'm a little less interested. But I do like the fact that it's taken the time travel thing without using present time. You know, most time travel, anything that we see now is they're either traveling from the past to present, or from the past, or from the present to some time in the past from the future. There's always that present day element, and it's not there. I'm kind of intrigued by that idea.
I'll be perfectly honest. When it comes to time travel, unless Marty McFly's in it, I've never really had much of an interest. So I like Ron Moore. Obviously, I really love Battlestar Galactica. I'll give it a chance. But if it's just some sappy Somewhere in Time ripoff and Christopher Reeve's not in it, I'm not going to watch it.
Do you like Quantum Leap?
Spoiler alert. Christopher Reeve is not in this.
Did I like Quantum Leap? Yeah, Quantum Leap was a fun show. I'll give you Quantum Leap. How's that?
Yeah.
Quantum Leap and Marty McFly. Otherwise, time travel doesn't work for me.
So
maybe
Scott
Time
Bakula
Bandits.
or-
Maybe Time Bandits. Maybe. Let's go to FX. Joel McHale is set to guest star on Sons of Anarchy as a con man for a multi-episode arc.
This is a pretty interesting call. I think it's actually a good one. I mean, I'm not the biggest Joel McHale fan. I mean, I don't have anything against him. I just don't have I don't watch, what is it, Community that he's on?
Community. Yep.
You fool.
I it's just a show that I don't know. There's always something else on or whatever. I just never really get. I've gotten bits and pieces of it, but it looks funny. I just don't make much of a point to watch it. But I mean, he's kind of one of the up and coming. I guess he's been kind of rising for a little while now. Funny guys, and I don't know. I mean, I think it'd be kind of interesting to see him what he can do in the Sons of Anarchy world, so to speak. So he's going to. Yeah, I mean, if he's going to be a con man, the guy's got to die a grisly death.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think it would be pretty good to watch Joe McHale. I mean, that's one of my favorite shows on TV. So I look forward to it. Joe McHale is very smarmy, so I like him a lot.
Soup guy, right?
Yeah, he's a soup guy. Just very witty and smarmy. I like him. Now, Brian, you had said something before the show about a cool thing that Ron Perlman did, who plays Clay on Sons of Anarchy. What did he do?
Yeah, he did a thing. There was a kid with the Make-A-Wish Foundation who, I mean, the kid's only like, I don't know, 7 or 8, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And his wish was to meet Hellboy. So what Ron Perlman did was he got dressed up and all that makeup, and looks just like he did in the movies, and hung out with him for the day or for I don't know how long. But anyway, went to visit him as Hellboy, just the full getup and everything. And I just thought that was really just kind of a really neat thing. A lot of these people don't get the recognition for the good things. You always hear about the bad shit that happens. They get a DUI or DWI, whatever. They're on meth. They beat up their mother, whatever the case is.
In that order.
Yeah. So, but it's just kind of nice to see an actor kind of reach out to a kid like that. And I guess they actually even...
Are you crying?
No,
like
I'm actually kind of congested right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Play it off.
Yeah.
Allergy season,
Sorry.
huh?
Mm-hmm.
Still dusty in here.
It is a touching story. Not a touchy story.
No,
Aaron.
wait, what? I gotta get the van warmed up. Go ahead.
Anyway, good on Ron Perlman. So
Did they get
cool.
the kid all did up too in that film?
Yeah, they sure did.
It was awesome.
It's very cool.
The smile on that kid's face was really priceless.
It was pretty cool. If you've never seen Dr. Horrible, that infamous web series that went on to be DVD and Netflix sensation, just chill out. It's going to come to the CW in the very near future. And also at Comic-Con, Doctor Who will be going out west, apparently, and to ancient Egypt, and will be taking dinosaurs to space this season. So feel free to squee, Justin.
Well, you and I both are pretty big Joss Whedon fans.
Mm-hmm.
I love Dr. Horrible. I'm kind of curious what they're going to do with it, because there's only 3 acts, and each one is only about 14 minutes long. So unless you pad it with, just as many commercials as you've got singing, it's only going to be 3 half-hour shows. So I'm not quite sure what they're going to do with it yet, but I loved Dr. Horrible. I know there's supposed to be a sequel to it coming up. I wish he would hurry up and get to it. For those of you who maybe have seen it but didn't check out the DVDs of it, the DVDs actually come with commentary tracks that are new songs that they sing to the same music but new lyrics and stuff.
That's kind of
That's
cool.
kind of cool. Yeah.
So yeah, I huge Joss Whedon fan, huge Dr. Horrible fan. So I don't know how they're going to handle it, but I'm curious to find out.
What about the Doctor Who story? That seems like it'd be more up your alley.
Well, they did some Doctor Who out west in the opening of last season. So if they're going to be returning to that, it's interesting. And I love that the following for the show has broadened to the point that they're now taking the filming out of England. Because in the show, he's constantly going to places all around the world, but obviously they all somehow look like England. But now they've opened up the budget and fans around the world, and so they're coming back to America, going to Egypt, doing all sorts of weird stuff. I love Doctor Who. I cannot wait for the new season. So yeah, I'm squeeing all over this one.
And Justin, you saw the Breaking Bad premiere. How this is the final season 5. How was it?
It's, oh God, it's so good, but it's hard to talk about because it did just air last night, and I don't know how much I want to talk about the preview, because in order to talk about what happens in this episode, you basically have to spoil what happened last season, and I really don't want to do that. For those of you who are not watching Breaking Bad, you are foolish, and you should immediately run out and purchase the DVDs, go to iTunes, whatever. They're not expensive. The seasons are short cable seasons, but it is one of the best shows on television. Grueling, brutal, dark, gritty. Watch it. And this season premiere was fantastic. Fantastic, but I don't want to give anything away. Awesome. Are you guys watching it at all? Am I surrounded by fans, or are you guys?
No, I love
love
Breaking Bad. I love it.
Did you watch the premiere?
I haven't watched it yet. I've got it recorded. I just haven't watched it yet. So.
Yeah.
I
didn't want to say anything.
I haven't watched an episode, but it's literally at the top of my list of next TV series I'm gonna break into, because I keep reading stuff on Facebook.
Did you do that on purpose?
No pun intended.
Breaking Bad has got probably one of the best hooks for a premiere episode for that first season. That first episode, like the first 10 minutes of it, is you're just going, what the fuck did I just put in my Blu-ray player?
Yeah, for those who don't know, Breaking Bad is about, it stars Bryan Cranston, and he plays a character named Walter White, who is a high school chemistry teacher, finds out that he has cancer, and they estimate that he's going to die soon. He has no money. His family is going to be left destitute when he dies. And so, desperate to figure out some way to leave something for his family, he eventually figures out that if he can cook meth and sell it, then in the selling of that, maybe earn some money that his family will have something to live on after he dies. And we are now 5 seasons in. It goes places you cannot imagine. It's a hard show, though. I found it to be a difficult show to mainline, either on DVD or download and just watch episode after episode after episode, because it is a very dark show. And it can, if you watch too many in a row, it might put you in a dark place. It's not like a Sons of Anarchy or one of those shows that at least has some moments of light and brevity, some humor. This is pretty grueling from beginning to end, but it is one of the best shows I have ever seen.
I plan on starting. Actually, all 4 seasons are now on Netflix Instant, so I'll probably get around to it.
Boom, then get on it. You people got no excuse.
Okay.
Nope.
All right, let's go to DVD and Blu-rays. Scotty?
All right, so this is for July 24th. Our first release is Silent House. This was the thriller that was it was marketed as an 88-minute long film that was supposedly taken in a single, unedited shot as the camera followed a girl trapped in a house, unable to contact anyone as she is pursued by some ominous presence. Also, The Deep Blue Sea. In The Deep Blue Sea, Rachel Weisz is the wife of a British judge who's having an affair with a pilot from the Royal Air Force.
Oh, this isn't the shark movie?
No, that's just Deep Blue Sea. This had a "the" in front of it.
Oh.
So,
Rachel Weisz fighting a shark. I would go see that.
And that shark come up out of the water and bam!
yeah, and they swim backwards. Break, that's Brake. This is Stephen Dorff, who you might remember as Deacon Frost in the original Blade film. Probably not much else. This time he's a Secret Service agent who's captured by terrorists and tortured for information to help their plot against the president. Last film is Meeting Evil. It's another thriller, but this time Luke Wilson, who begins the film as a kind of a pussy, but he's chiseled into a hero and protector of his family by a mysterious stranger played by Samuel L. Jackson. Also on TV releases, we've got Season 1 of Boss, as well as the British version of Treasure Island. Those are all for July 24th.
Ooh, yeah. Hit me with that unknown shit. Flashback.
Next, we move on to our Flashback DVD or Blu-ray section, and this is where one of the Hollywood Outsiders brings to the table a Blu-ray or DVD that's a little lesser known or more obscure that they'd like our listeners, as well as the rest of the hosts here, to get a crack at watching. So this week it's Aaron's turn. Aaron, what film you have for us?
Okay. Well, this week, in honor of absolutely nothing at all, There's a little horror movie that was a remake of another horror movie that I found, and Brian will really like this. It's called Let Me In. It stars Chloe Moretz, basically, as a little female vampire. And Cody Smith McPhee played Owen. He's basically a little boy that gets bullied a lot, and he ends up building a relationship with this girl who is a vampire and lives in secrecy with her guardian. It's kind of a hard movie to explain without ruining some of the twists and surprises, but he's an odd kid. They grow to have a relationship. They grow to fall in love. There's a lot of it's almost kind of like a mature-ish relationship between the two, even though they are young. It's just a very, very sweet, bloody-ass film. It's not your typical vampire movie. It's not like Twilight or anything like that. I mean, she's really kind of tortured, and she doesn't want to live the life that she has to live. And her guardian is Richard Jenkins, and there's obviously some more story between those two. It's hard to I can't explain the story without telling you what the twists are, and I'm not going to do that. But it's called Let Me In, and it's a very, very well done horror film. It was directed by Matt Reeves, who did Cloverfield. Only this film is not shaky at all. I mean, he actually holds the camera pretty still. Just a well done, very small independent film. So if you can see Let Me In, the U.S. version, it's a great movie.
I've seen it as well. It's very good.
Yeah. Okay. Now let's go to our Stump the HO answer. Let's find out if our Stump the HO contest winner actually won. The question that Aaron S. sent in was, being that this week marks the 39th anniversary of Bruce Lee's death, I thought I would do a Bruce Lee question. Which of the following celebrities was not a student of Bruce Lee's? Was it A, Roman Polanski, B, Paul Newman, C, Chuck Norris, or D, Steve McQueen? The answer was Paul Newman.
Woo!
And since two of our hoes guessed wrong, Aaron, you win a T-shirt. You win an IMAHO T-shirt, so I will be contacting you soon, get your address, and get you that shipped out pretty quick. So congratulations, man. Golf clap. Damn it. Yeah.
Where are you making fun of me now, bitches?
Congratulations, Scott Clark, because he actually got the answer right. Whether he guessed or not, he still got it right.
You'll never know.
Yeah. How do you guys feel?
Yeah, we know.
How do you guys feel? Do you feel sad?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Rub it in my face.
No, I'm happy for the listener. That's how I feel.
Good,
That's right.
Brian. Good job. I'm so proud of you. Okay, now it's time for our From the Outside In topic. With Dark Knight Rises ending the majority of our superhero summer and Comic-Con just ending, we thought, you know what, let's just overdo it with superheroes this episode. So we're going to talk about our favorite superheroes and why. Now, whether it be through traditional comics, graphic novels, superheroes, from original material like Chronicle, who are our favorites that have made it onto film or TV and why? And why do we love them so much?
Can I go ahead and volunteer to go first on this one?
Sure.
Well,
you want to get the misery over quick?
Yeah, pretty much.
Right.
I mean, I'm in the minority of this group since I've never read a comic book, and I'm only familiar with characters that were made into TV shows as I was a kid. So because of that, my answers aren't original. Mine are very easy, everyman answers, because I don't have a whole lot to relate to.
That's fine.
Batman. I mean, ever since the cheesy TV show from the 60s, which I watched as a kid, even though it was reruns for a long time since then, from that to the first film with Michael Keaton, to Christopher Nolan's reboot, even the cartoons as a kid, I've always loved the idea. The series had a character that was deep and emotional, while having interesting and weird characters that were entertaining to watch Bruce Wayne fight off with his batarang. I don't know.
Maybe not in the TV series. I don't know if that was very deep, but
not in the TV series, but it grew. I loved that show as a kid, though. I watched it every week. and my other one is Iron Man. Robert Downey Jr. With his sarcastic spin on the character, I just loved it. It's one of those movies that makes me want to be a superhero, just because, he's just a likable character. So apparently, I'm a fan of series that are grounded a little bit more in realism. Neither of my two favorites have superpowers. They just have super rich.
Yeah, they have a lot of money. You just like rich guys.
Apparently, I'm a fan of money.
You want to know the sad part with the Iron Man thing is I'd rather be Tony Stark.
Yeah,
he's cool.
Iron
Man, yeah, he kicks ass and shit, but Tony Stark is just cool. I'd rather be him.
And he's a little
Iron Man's got lasers in his hand.
Yeah.
Fuck Stark.
Tony Stark has scotch everywhere he wants it. All right. Anything else, Scott?
That's it. Those are my big two. Like I said, I'm the ones grounded a little more in reality, but I still love the supernatural stuff too. So.
All right. Who wants to go? Justin. You love to
Me?
wait, or do you want to wait? You want to wait, don't you?
No, go. I want to hear Justin.
Justin's, or I can go. You want me to go?
No,
Sure.
we don't care about yours.
Okay. Well, fuck you. Obviously, the Spider-Man. That's obvious. I mean, anybody's ever listened to the show knows that I squee every time I hear Spider-Man's name. Even the Nicholas Hammond era, which is basically a guy dressing up in pajamas, walking flat, and then they basically just turn the camera sideways so it looks like he's climbing up a building when you can tell he's just like walking on the floor. That era, still love it. Love the character. When Sam Raimi brought it to the screen, to me it was like seeing my childhood on the screen, so loved that. Another one of my favorites is The Crow. Brandon Lee made the role work, even though in a way I didn't think was possible. I knew the comic pretty well before the movie came out, so I was really excited to see it. Really liked Brandon Lee because I thought he was just very clever.
He was fantastic in that.
He was fantastic. And the sad part was, his death was very tragic and whatnot, but it actually added to the film. It sounds like a horrible thing to say, but...
No, I get you. I mean, the character is a dead character, so to have the actor die playing almost an undead character, it did kind of add to it.
I mean, it's very tragic. I hate to call it method acting because you don't want to encourage that, but it actually made the movie more dramatic. And sad, and you felt a lot more for the character because he dies in the movie and he died in real life making the movie. So another one that fuck the haters, I don't care. Blade, fucking love Blade. I love Blade. I thought that was, granted, not 100% according to comic books and whatnot, but that's just a fun series. And I personally think Blade 2 is probably the best Blade movie.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Blade 2 is the superior Blade film.
But I really like Steven Dorff.
I did too.
I'm kind of partial to Steven Dorff. But Blade 2 was just a great Blade movie. I mean, really, I liked Blade Trinity. I thought Ryan Reynolds and Jessica Biel were fun. I liked the first Blade because Steven Dorff was a lot of fun. And Wesley Snipes was really good in it. But he had so much more fun with the character in Blade 2. And Ron Perlman just brought a whole new element to the villains, and just the actual
blush,
the visceral attacks of the vampires and what they created. I don't remember what they called the other vampires that were involved. But,
the predator-looking guys.
Yeah, the fucked up looking guys. But they
call them Reavers.
Yeah, Reavers. There we go. They were so visceral, so just. I mean, you were actually frightened of them. We don't get scary vampires anymore. That one was shit scary. Loved it. Brian. No, Justin, you got to go before Brian this time. You were stealing poor Brian's
if
thunder.
we're talking about superheroes from your traditional comics, then I really have to go, and I know it's probably a boring character to so many people, but Superman is, for me, is one of those characters that no matter how Boy Scoutish he may be portrayed, there's something about that character that inspires me to want to be the best person I can be. I don't know what it is. And, in the first two Richard Donner films, though Richard Donner really didn't finish the second film, and the first two Christopher Reeves Superman films, I loved what they did with the character. I loved the bringing in of Zod and the other Kryptonians in the second film. But I know I'm very much alone in this, but Singer's Superman Returns, I adore it. I watch it. I've seen it a half a dozen times, and I get no less swept up in it every time I watch it. There is just something so majestic about that Superman and what Brandon Routh, how he portrayed him. I mean, every time he takes off, it's almost like he's ascending into the heavens and not just pushing away from the ground. And when he lands, it's almost angelic. And I know Bryan Singer talked a lot about, there is this whole thing about Superman having very much a Messiah kind of thing, the whole Moses parallel that goes on. So yes, there is a heavy kind of religious overtone to him. In that film, you really get that feeling of just, this is someone better than us and someone we should aspire to be. And I loved Superman Returns. I still think it's probably my favorite superhero movie done yet. And that's considering how much I've loved the Iron Man films. I love The Crow. I love Blade. I think they're all great films, but there's just something about Superman. But if you're talking about a superhero character not based on a traditional comic that's really more original, I think the best one ever done is Unbreakable. That movie has got the most realistic depiction of what being... Was that Brian falling over for me stealing his thunder? It's the most realistic depiction of what someone coming to grips with being a superhero is like. And people can hate on M. Night all they want, and a lot of it's deserved. But to follow up The Sixth Sense with Unbreakable, to me it was a masterstroke. I think Unbreakable is the better film, and The Sixth Sense is incredible, but Unbreakable is a superhero versus a supervillain. But yet it is shot so much like a drama. It is a fantastic movie, and I really wish more people would give it a chance. And I wish M. Night would do a follow-up to it. I would love to see what that character goes on to do. It's just so fantastic.
Good choices. Brian, you got anything left?
Hang on. I've already gone through like 2 boxes of comic books looking for somebody to different to talk about at this point. I agree with Justin, though. The Unbreakable movie is just fantastic. It's just, like you say, it is really much, it's a drama that just happens to have some guys with some, with some powers and their way of dealing with it. It's phenomenal. And I just really think it was overlooked quite a bit, or maybe not given the due that it should have got after. But it's hard. I mean, it's hard to follow up a movie like Sixth Sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, again, I've got to go mainstream on this, and I've got to say, Batman. I've just, for whatever reasons, I've always liked Batman. Just as a kid, he was one of my favorites. When the Michael Keaton movie came out, I was buying up anything with a Batman logo on it. Mm-hmm. Even earned the nickname Batman from high school friends and stuff. It was just, that's my guy. And I guess there's just something about it. Like when you talk about like the Justice League, you've got all these people with all these fantastic powers. And then you just got a guy who's just really smart, really athletic, and got a shit ton of money and knows how to put all 3 together. So, mm-hmm. In a way, I guess he is kind of like like Iron Man in that way, but he's really kind of an Iron Man, Captain America, almost Punisher combination there.
Yeah, he
just
is.
Without, maybe bits and pieces of all 3 of those guys.
Especially since the 80s. I mean, when they took the character a lot darker, it's
right.
It's definitely been more interesting to me. In fact, I think that's why I kind of got into the show Angels, because it just reminded me of Batman to some degree. So Batman is just very, very, very cool. I had another, The Rocketeer was one of my favorites, which most people don't remember that movie, but that was a hell of a fun flick. Yeah, The Rocketeer is just good family flick, and it was based on a comic. It's good. Most people don't remember that one, but
I got that one on Blu-ray.
Of course you do. Of course you do. It's right next to Finding Nemo. Any more before we move on, guys?
Yeah, there were a couple of TV shows I wanted to mention real quick. The obvious one to mention here, or, well, maybe obvious, I don't know. And it ended up getting a lot of hate before it finished out. But that first season of Heroes is one of the best seasons of television I have ever seen. And I think that the second season did suck. The third season and fourth season, I actually felt like picked things back up, and unfortunately, they kind of kept going back to the same season-long premise. But even so, that first season is incredibly well done. My wife and I would watch it the night it aired, and constantly shocked, gasping, amazed at the turns they would take. Heroes really should have ended a little better than it did. I hate the hate that it gets now. It's phenomenal. But there's another show that started last year, and they're about to start up the second season of it on Sci-Fi, called Alphas. It's kind of Heroes light, but I still think it's an intriguing show. I like the characters, and I'm really curious where they're going to take it this second season. It ended really, really strong. So for those of you who maybe didn't watch it, I think it's available on Netflix. It may be on Hulu as well. But Alpha's the first season, better than I thought it would be, especially given Sci-Fi's usual schlock. But it's a good show, and it is. If you liked Heroes, you should watch Alphas.
Can I ask you real quick? And we need to move on, but
yeah,
you're a big Superman fan, which I love. I love Christopher Reeve and Superman, but you're a big Superman fan. They're doing the new Superman, Man of Steel, comes out next year. How do you, real quickly? I always got to preface it with Justin, real quickly. How do you feel about them not using the original Superman theme song? Because they're not using it at all.
I'm glad they're not. I love the Superman Returns used it because Bryan Singer did his movie as though it was Superman 3. It was a follow-up to the first two movies, and so it made sense that they would use Brian Williams' score.
John Williams.
I'm sorry.
John Williams.
Brian
Williams.
Brian Williams is...
Well, we didn't know? You guys didn't know Brian wrote that shit? No, yes, John Williams.
It's a little side gig, movie scoring.
To use his score was appropriate, but considering that this film is a complete reboot, I'm kind of glad that they're going to go ahead and chart their own music, just like I'm glad that they didn't use Danny Elfman's Batman score in the Christopher Nolan movies.
Oh, okay. One that we should mention before we go, because a lot of fanboys will probably shoot us, but Watchmen. I'm not a big Zack Snyder fan, but I will say that as far as that comic book goes, that was quite an impressive job adapting that comic. So
Blue Dong and all, it was good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Some things he should have just admitted needed to be cut, but overall, he did a very good job.
Cut.
What about Sin City?
Circumcised. Well,
I think Dr. Manhattan was, but I don't know.
Okay, let's go into emails. Paul Showalter says, I just want to say thanks for the podcast and keep up the great work. The format of your show is awesome and the banter is top-notch. I want to thank myself. Listening to your podcast makes my boring drive to work more enjoyable. I found you guys with the Stitcher app and subscribed to your RSS feed. Thanks, Paul.
Thank you.
Thanks, Paul.
Thanks, Paul.
That's
And
it.
you're
Quit staring at quit staring at your iPod and pay attention to the road, though.
Fuck that. Keep listening. Just keep repeating. Another one comes from, that's Dan Miranda, who we talked about earlier, and I still hope I said his name right. I feel bad. Maybe he'll send me how I say it correctly. Great podcast. I've been listening for about 2 months now and loved every minute of it, except the recommendation of Rob Roy. Other than Tim Roth, it sucked. Otherwise, I think you guys are spot on. Thanks for the great stuff. Keep it up. I think,
Don't be a hater.
That's the one you recommended, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
Stand by it.
And the last one is from Ashley. Ashley, how are you? Love the last show. So true. Scott definitely did rate Magic Mike, so she admitted that she was way wrong. I must have had a mild seizure during that part. My apologies, sir. Outside in topics. What do you guys think about people bringing babies to theaters? I understand it sucks you are in the house all the time with your offspring, but is it okay that I have to suffer through your kid crying in legit movies? What are your biggest pet peeves while watching movies? 1, 2, 3, discuss, Ashley. So what are our top 3 pet peeves when we go to a movie? Scott, why don't you go first? You always wanted to go first.
I think the one that's annoyed me most recently is at the beginning of a movie, one of the theater employees needs to come out and do a little announcement right before the movie. Like, it's not enough that we have the little, like, please silence your cell phone thing, but an actual employee comes out and says, hey, welcome to so-and-so theater, and my name is this. It's so awkward and uncomfortable, and when they walk away, people don't know what to say. That's, like, really awkward to me.
I kind of like that. It
You
gives
like
it a
that?
personal touch.
I don't know.
What's number 2?
Number 2 is just rude people in general, whether it be texting, talking during movies, bringing their babies, just people that are there without respect for anybody else's time or their enjoyment of the movie. Just really bothers me.
Okay.
And I don't know, this has become more apparent for me just because I'm seeing a lot more movies as of late. But I'm so freaking tired of seeing that and you guys might have a different theater than we do, but this ad at the beginning of every movie of the chick sitting in the chair and the vines growing around her and they're sipping their Coke and staring at the screen. Like it's can't they come up with another advertisement?
It's an enchanting evening, Scott.
Oh, it just
every
drives
time
me
I see
crazy.
that, I think that chick's probably 65 years old right now.
I know, because I've seen it so many times. Like seriously, they've got one promo for that theater chain.
Yeah. Brian, what are yours?
Phones. Whether it's somebody talking on them, whether it's somebody Facebooking, whatever the case is, when I see that light pop up, it totally takes me out of the movie. And I don't care if it's right in front of me or if it's all the way at the front end of the theater. It's very distracting, and it just drives me up the wall almost more than my number 2, which is, talking. I don't mind, hey, did you see that? Or, oh my God, that's funny. But when you're having a conversation, whether it's, the person next to you or on a phone, whatever, if you've got that much to say, get the fuck out. Go talk outside. But my last one is popcorn. Why can't they make bags that don't leak? If you get the big tub, okay, it's got a hard enough bottom. But at least, at my movie theater, if you get like a smaller medium bag and you get them to, load it up with the heart clogging butter stuff, it leaks through the bag. So you're sitting there through the movie, you're watching the movie. All of a sudden, you get up to go and it looks like you pissed yourself. So. And then it stains it, it's that greasy stuff, it stains. So,
all right.
Have better quality bags, I guess.
Justin, you or me?
I'll go.
Okay.
Kind of trailing on Brian there. You must be lucky to have theaters that butter for you. I fucking hate that nearly every theater around me now no longer butters a popcorn. They make me do it. And because they hand me a full bag or a full tub, I've got to go over there, pour a little butter, shake for fucking ever, like I got, having a seizure, just so I can get that popcorn to circulate so I can butter. Because I like some goddamn butter on my popcorn. I got the weight to prove it.
Yeah, we just tell them layer it.
But nobody wants to butter popcorn behind the counter. I've got to do it on my side. It's a ridiculous pain in the ass. I don't like it, and I want them to stop doing it. I don't know why they even started this shit.
Okay, what else you got?
Number 2, I hate those overly long intro movies that want to tell me where the Coke is, where the candy is, have a little song and dance with it. Tell me to turn off my popcorn or my phone. Tell people to shut their kids up. I don't need a 10-minute goddamn movie telling me all this stuff. We know it by now. And they're just so fucking boring. Lastly, any theater that doesn't have cup holders.
Oh,
it's the 21st century, folks. Give me a cup holder.
Yeah. It's too far in the future to be holding my own pop.
That's right.
All right, my 3. 2 of them are mimicking what you guys are saying. Talking during a movie, and that includes other people's mistakes. If your kid's 4 and you know they're a chatty one, get a fucking sitter. If you and your girlfriend want to sit there and catch up, do it somewhere else. Don't do it in the theater. They don't play that shut the fuck up ad before the movie just because they find it amusing. That's one I never understand. You always hear the people having full conversations in the theater. I don't get it. Texting during the movie, not just the texting, but that ominous radiated glow that emits from the fucking thing. Every time one of those things goes up, I just wish I had a sniper rifle.
And real quick on that, why do they have to hold they can't put it down in their lap and look down at it like they're driving.
Yes.
Like people do when they're driving. They've got to hold it up and put it right in front of their eyes.
Well, Brian, it's important. You know what I mean? I mean, it's like LOL.
No, seriously, I was sitting right behind a guy, and he's scrolling through ESPN looking at sports stuff, and all I can sit there and think of is I want to watch this, and you can't help but keep your eyes from turning to this light over here.
And all I'm thinking is all I want to do is just smash in your fucking skull with a bat.
Wow. Brian is really angry.
Yeah, I just went on Untouchables
Yeah. I would tell him, like, shut his phone off, though. I wouldn't fuck around with that.
Bear on you.
And I actually go the opposite route of Justin. When a theater does not let me butter my own popcorn, bitch, I paid $56 for this $2 corn. You need to let me butter that shit. Because I go to those theaters where they butter it and they give you like 2 squirts. You know, I'm not happy. I'm not happy. I don't like it. I'm a grown ass man. Give me a butter machine and get the fuck out of my way. I can handle it.
You got
But
some
give me
stingy servers.
Give me a bowl.
How about this? Why don't, instead of having the popcorn behind the counter and then the butter, I guess, at the end of the counter, why not you go up there to the counter, you give them your $42 for that 8-ounce bag.
And have a community little tray there.
And then you walk down, you fill it up however you like.
I like it. Sold. Brian Williams running our theater chains.
Problem
from now
solver.
On.
That's me.
I would pay more to have the bigger tub, but only have it half filled up.
Yeah, there you go.
Because I never eat a full bag, like the big ass bag of popcorn or whatever. I just want some, but I don't want my popcorn just to have butter and salt on the top.
Yeah, I want an ocean of that butter imitation soup stuff and just float some popcorn on it.
God.
Just give me a dipping bowl
That's just
of
disgusting.
butter.
Sorry, my wife's a cardiac nurse. It's all good.
Next week, I hope that answered your question, Ashley. So now you got all of our top 3s. Next week, we are finally going to review The Dark Knight Rises on our 1-year anniversary show. Be sure to email us your favorite moments from the show, and we'll read them on the air at feedback@thehollywoodoutsider.com. Coming Monday, we're going to have our Dark Knight spoiler cast. We'll still review it on the regular episode next week, but this is going to be a spoilerific podcast where we're just going to talk about The Dark Knight, the whole trilogy, and how we think it wraps up. And also, I want to reiterate, if you want to win a t-shirt, we're giving away 3 of them next week. iTunes positive review, give us a 5-star review, and send us what your handle is, and we'll draw a name from that. Send us a What's This Movie clip, and if we draw your name, you'll get a t-shirt. And a flashback, 1 paragraph, old movie or favorite movie of yours that not many people know about, and we'll give you a t-shirt for that. Okay, make sure you stay through the credits for outtakes. You can always find us on thehollywoodoutsider.com. We're here every week. This episode is like the calm before the storm of Batman, really, is what it is. You can always find us on Facebook, facebook.com/thehollywoodoutsiders. Email us at feedback@thehollywoodoutsiders.com. Please tell your friends if you can. Share us on Facebook, whatever you want to do. Subscribe on iTunes, Zune, Google Reader. Listen on your Stitcher radio app, or just on your plain old RSS feed. I want to thank the podcasters. Thanks, Brian Williams, available on Twitter at BrianWMS. Thanks, B.
My pleasure.
I am so tired from saying all that. Scott Clark, thank you, buddy. He's available on Twitter at Scotty Lindsay. Thanks, Scotty.
Not a problem, brother.
Did you have fun?
As always.
Do you feel sad about we make fun of you too much this week?
No.
Okay.
We'll try harder next week.
That's right. Next week we make you cry. Justin McCumber, he's the host of the Dead Robot Society, weekly podcast for aspiring writers, available on deadrobotsociety.com. Thanks, Justin.
Thank you, Aaron.
As always, Justin has 14,000 things available for sale. The first one is Haywire. It's available now on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, iBooks, and for your Kindle or Nook, as well as his new DRS collection, Explorers, right?
Right.
Okay. You can find those both on Amazon. So, with that, my name is Aaron Peterson, and this is the Hollywood Outsider. And the next time you go to the theater, buy popcorn.
Buy popcorn.
Buy popcorn. Buy popcorn.
Decision for me letting you go. No time to visit, I just wanna go home. You're unable to understand that I'm doing the best I can, and all I know is all I'd rather be home. I'd rather be home. I'd rather be home.
What is that, Batman?
Yes.
After we eat popcorn, it's Fat Man.
It's not what I do.
Let's do what we can.
So I might be stuck in the basement alone with Aaron
You can
in
dream.
the dark.
That's all right. You're over 12.
I'm not at Brian's basement.
Characters with superpowers.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, great.
Well, does Batman count?
I was going to say.
Well, he's a superhero, yes. His
Okay.
superpower is his money.
So Romney's a superhero. Douche.
Super douche. That'd be his name. Maybe he wanted to go see a movie, but he couldn't find anyone to go. Nobody will go. Please, somebody go with me to the movies.
He gets mad at me for making fun of him.
I'm so alone.
He almost just fell out of his chair, literally. I always thought bunghole's another word for butthole. I didn't
Well,
realize.
that's where it came from.
I-
I mean, it was
I-
originally in barrels, and I'm sure it carried over.
I'm my
This
mind
week in UrbanDictionary.com with Justin McCumber.
my mind
more
is a
you
little
know.
blown right now.
What's that?
So you're just going to completely ignore my question.
What was your question? What was your question? What did I miss?
The top 3 things that annoy us about
Oh, what about it?
theater. I mean, is it person related? Is it theater related? Is it? I
Dude,
mean,
if you read the email,
I did read the email, but like,
when you go to a movie, what are your 3? I don't care if it's you go to the bathroom and the fucking seats
Okay.
up. I don't care what it is,
that's what I want to know.
and that probably
I'm
does.
tired
bother
when I'm standing in the urinal. The pee-pee splashes on my toes when I wear flip-flops. All right, let's go.
God damn it! What is with you and the clapping?
Clap
Is that how you get Molly to get in bed?
It's
They make a cream for that.
Apparently, they make a cream for everything.
apparently Scott's the cream master.
So the ladies call me.